I just watched episode 5 of season 4 of Young Justice. It is July 18th as I record this. The beginning of the Artemis arc, so the second arc. We start off the episode by showing kind of Artemis's life. You know, she's living with, he's not Roy, what's his name? Will, I think that's his name now, right? He's Will Harper. Living with Will and Leanne. She's I believe a college professor now. The show, she's got a new boyfriend. She still operates as Tigress. You know, life's going pretty good with her. And then her life gets turned upside down with the news of Superboy's death. So I thought that these arcs were going to be like they were happening like at the same time, but it's not. It's just that, like, yes, this is a new arc, but it's like one after the other, which is fine. That's completely fine. So yeah, they showed that, you know, after she learns about Superboy's death, it doesn't start to work. She's losing her mojo when she's out on patrol. There's some stuff. She's not really clicking with her boyfriend anymore. You know, all this type of stuff that comes with trauma. Then we get she was followed to the library, the university library, the university she works at, where a girl by the name of, I think her name is Onyx Adams. She says, "I've defected from the League of Shadows to warn you that Cassandra Savage is on her way and she's gonna try and be a mole." Cassandra Savage then does show up and she looks so beaten up. She lost an arm, her left arm, and then she's got like scarred on her left side of her face. And she's telling the story where she's like, "I defected because I saw my father kill my sister in front of me, and he did this to me as a warning, and I've escaped now." So now the thing is like, who do you trust? Who's actually telling the truth? I think it's neither of them, and I think they're both evil. They do mention it in the episode too, where Will's just like, it's an old, you know, war strategy. You send two moles, so it doesn't matter which one you choose. You know? And I was glad that this episode didn't just pick a side and be like, yeah, they're the good one. You know, it's like they don't trust either of them, which is great, because I wouldn't trust either of them either. We get to see some, actually people that we haven't seen a lot before. We got to see Stephanie Brown, she was there. Arrowette, Arsenal, he hasn't been there in a freaking while. We got to see Orphan, which is of course Cassandra Cain, and Artemis asks her, "Should we trust Cassandra?" She shakes her head no. "Should we trust Onyx?" Shakes her head no. Okay, fair enough. So that's pretty much the Artemis side of this episode. The other side of this episode is dealing with Jade, her sister, Cheshire. Cheshire went to Infinity Island to fight her sensei because she wanted to kill him. Because there's been a bounty on her since she defected from the League. And he beats her, doesn't kill her, says, you know, we've kind of left the light and the League over here. And she doesn't buy it. But who also walks through the door? But Talia al Ghul with Damien, the little baby Damien. He's not little baby Damien anymore. He's a kid Damien now. He's there. And the masked red figure who is so obviously Jason Todd. He's there. Jade has a bit of a confrontation with all of them, but then she gets like a little ping on her phone and then she books it back to the mainland, back to Star City at Artemis's home, where her mom is looking after Leanne. And Jade's like, "Why'd you summon me?" And Artemis bursts through the door and goes, "She didn't, I did." And that's where we end the episode. So yeah, this is the start of the arc. Very promising. I don't trust either Cassandra Savage or Onyx, whatever her name is. I don't care. I don't trust either of them, and I think, yeah. So we'll see how this all goes. But so far, I'm going to give this episode, it was pretty good. So I'll say an 8. This is an 8. This gets an 8. I just finished watching episode 6 of Young Justice Season 4. It is July 19th as I record this. I watched the episode Artemis Through the Looking Glass, the second episode of her story arc. But yeah, keeping it going, man. We had Jade Shatshire. She came back because Artemis is like, I need someone who knows the shadows to interrogate Onyx and Cassandra Savage. And Cheshire agreed, and she's like, yeah, they're both either very good, they're both lying, or they're both, either telling the truth. She said, I think you should just kill them both, though, which I agree with. I think we should just kill both of them and cut our losses. But no, we're not gonna do that. We get to see Beast Boy a bit in this episode. He's going through a bit of a depression, it looks like, after Superboy's death. Which is, yeah, that's pretty understandable, Yeah, because Wonder Girl is like, hey, we got a mission, you coming? And he's like, yeah, I'm not really feeling it. He's like, I'm jet-lagged. That's his excuse. I'm jet-lagged. I won't be helpful. Sure, buddy. We'll go with that. We then had the League of Assassins, or Shadows, I believe, because they're League of Shadows in this, attack and try and kidnap Cassandra Savage. It was Black Spider, who's just essentially just Greg Weisman being able to write Spider-Man again. Because he literally writes him as if he was Spectacular Spider-Man. It's even Josh Keaton do the voice. Though he puts like a little bit of a southern twang on his voice. It was Black Spider, some guy I don't know. I don't know his name. He's got like a cybernetic arm and shit. But they failed in kidnapping Cassandra because Artemis, Cheshire, and Orphan were in their way. Lady Shiva then knocks out Orphan. She showed up with Shade. So she came out the shadows. She knocks out Orphan and says, come to Santa Prisca. If you want Orphan alive, then you'll give us Cassandra Savage. Jade then dropped the bomb that Orphan is Lady Shiva's daughter, which, yeah, they didn't know. I did, obviously, because I'm a comic book fan. I'm a DC comic fan, superhero fan, and just in general. So I knew that, yeah, Cassandra Cain, she's the daughter of Lady Shiva and David Cain. So, I kind of knew that already. So when she's like, yeah, she's Lady Shiva's daughter, it's like a big bombshell. I'm kind of just like sitting there like, yeah, I know. Oh, wait, you don't know. Oh, okay, sorry. Forget. And then we get a bit of flashbacks in this episode too about Artemis and Jade's life growing up as Sportsmaster. He was a douche of a dad. He sucked. But as we leave, Cassandra Savage, Artemis, and Onyx are heading to Infinity Island to make the trade for Cassandra Cain. And that's where we left off. Yeah, so overall, I give this episode a strong 8 out of 10. Just really good. I'm liking this arc so far. Yeah, nothing more to say, really. It was just really... I just finished watching the next episode of Young Justice. Episode 7, right? Yeah, 7. The Lady or the Tigress. The penultimate episode of the Tigress storyline. We got a lot in this episode, so I'm gonna break it down. We got to see Mars again, back with M'gann. She attacked her brother and his followers. She found out that he didn't actually use the kryptonite in the bomb. That was all Desaad. And her brother escaped using a boom tube. She was going like super crazy, just destroying all the white Martians. And then she started crying because now she's like, oh, well, if my brother didn't know, then I can't blame him. So who do I blame now? It's really sad. And she leaves Mars with Martian Manager. She's now officially left Mars on her way back to Earth, and her sister has asked to come with her. So that's what happened on Mars. We got to see the origin for Cassandra Cain in this universe, as well as what happened to Barbara. It wasn't Killing Joke that rendered her paralyzed. What rendered her paralyzed in this universe was Cassandra was tasked on a mission by Lady Shiva to kill the Joke. And when she went to go and slice the Joker, Batgirl pushed Joker out the way and got sliced in the spine. And that is why Barbara's paralyzed in this universe. It's not the Killing Joke. And that's when, Cassandra turned on the League and joined the Bat family and all that type of stuff. So that's the origin for Cassandra and the reason for Barbara's paralysis in this universe, which it's a nice spin, I mean, I'm not one of those people who hate the idea that Barbara has to... I mean, not every universe does Barbara have to get paralyzed. No, she doesn't. But I'm not always against... Because people are like, oh, she got paralyzed. I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what happens now. I mean, if she doesn't get paralyzed, that's fine. But I'm not against it. Just because it opens a different aspect to her. And allows other people to be Batgirl. And then we had the big thing. Who was the mole? Was it Cassandra Savage or was it Onyx Adams? It was Cassandra Savage. They infiltrated the League's base, and she revealed that all her injuries were fake. It was a glamour charm, like the same thing Artemis used in season 2. To change her appearance, Cassandra used that to make herself look like she got beat up. We had a bit of a surprise when Cheshire showed up. And Artemis is like, I knew you'd come. After Cheshire last episode said that she wasn't going to join, she showed up. And we end the episode with Cassandra Savage, Black Spider, Lady Shiva, Shade, and the cybernetic dude who I don't know. Them all cornering Artemis, Onyx, and Cheshire as they're about to free Cassandra Cain. That's where the episode ends. Good cliffhanger. I really like this episode. Another solid 8 out of 10. I just feel like I'm just giving a bunch of 8 out of 10s now, but that's all I can really say because they're just solid and good. Nothing super spectacular, but it's nothing bad, right? It's like really good. So that's what I will give this episode an 8 out of 10. Lady or the Tigress. Yeah, it gets an 8 out of 10 for me. It is July 22nd, and I have finished watching the final episode of the Artemis storyline. Oh my god. I believe the episode was called I Know Why the Caged Cat Sings. I believe that was the name of the episode. I'm gonna check. Oh, I'm so prepared. I Know Why the Caged Cat Sings. I got it right. So, pick it up from the cliffhanger of the last episode. Barbara, using her little drone thing, shuts down all the lights. So it's a big fight in the dark between the shadows and our good guys. And the good guys get the tar beaten out of them. Artemis gets stabbed in the leg. A lot of blood in this episode. Not that that's a bad thing. But the good guys are all saved by Shade. He turns, and he says that he turned because he owed Cheshire a debt, and now that debt's been repaid. So, oh, by the way, Lady Shiva, she cut 2 freaking shadow people in half. Oh my god. So Lady Shiva has a big fight with Cassandra Cain. Cassandra stabs her right in the chest, and she doesn't die because getting stabbed in the chest doesn't kill anyone anymore. Just go watch Star Wars. But Barbara convinces Cassandra, don't do it. You don't gotta do this. You're not a killer. Cassandra listens. She doesn't kill Lady Shiva. Artemis wants to bring Cheshire back to her daughter and all that type of stuff, but when Cheshire... And she does like a FaceTime thing, but when Cheshire sees that her daughter made a Cheshire Cat mask, she runs away. Back to Infinity Island, back to Sensei, and all that stuff, and she tries to attack, but Artemis stops her, and they have a nice heart-to-heart where Jade says that she doesn't want to be... She's too much like Dad, and she doesn't want her daughter to be like her. Ra's al Ghul shows up, first time he's been here this season, and he offers to help Cheshire and Onyx Adams get better from what the Shadows did with them. Oddly nice from Ra's al Ghul. Always an agenda going on with this guy, so don't fully trust it. So that's what happens. Jade and Onyx Adams stay on Infinity Island to get their rehabilitation, as it's put, from Sensei and Ra's al Ghul. The other little thing was we got to see the Kents in Smallville. Little Jonathan Kent there. Awesome. I like to imagine this is Jonathan Kent before they screwed him up in the comics. What he is now is god-awful. And, you know, he's kind of just like, oh, you know, is Uncle Connor going to show up? Obviously, he doesn't understand what death means. Because they told him he passed away. And he's like, yeah, that means he passed our house. But he won't pass this one. So it was a nice little moment of Superman kind of telling his son about death. And then we had a scene where Superman kind of cries about the fact that he was a douche to Superboy in season 1. Yeah, it was real nice. It was a real nice moment, the Kent stuff. I really liked it. This episode was great overall. I give it an 8 out of 10, a solid 8 out of 10. I give the arc as a whole just a really good 8 out of 10. Like, I would say that this arc progressed better than the first one, I would say. But the first one isn't a bad arc at all. And that does it. I got 2 arcs down. One, we got entering the third one with Zatanna. And I think that's 5 episodes. Let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 episodes with Zatanna. We'll see how that goes. That's going to be starting soon. So yeah, that is my review of Arc 2 for Young Justice Season 4. I give it overall an 8 out of 10. It was good. And that's all I can really say. I'm looking forward to the next one.